Wow, the police have gone too far with this one. In New Orleans, facial recognition is being used to monitor everyday people and compare them with wanted suspects or people around crime scenes. Not only are cameras in New Orleans being used to identify people with facial recognition, meaning that they're scanning people 24/7. You walk around, your face is being scanned. Not only is that the problem, but also this facial recognition system that the New Orleans Police Department is using is actually pinging police officers' phones as it scans and recognizes people that are either wanted or committed a crime or are a suspect of doing something worth monitoring and worth being notified about. I don't know about you, but as somebody who cares about my privacy, my security, this whole new world of facial recognition, biometric scanning, all of this stuff, it seems to be going a little bit too far. We already know facial recognition struggles to really identify people, especially people of color. Also know that these technologies are very new. There's going to be a lot of nuances, and a lot of people are not informed. If you are in New Orleans or if you're around any major city, you better assume that this technology is being used against you, and if you're a regular, everyday, law-abiding citizen, you have the opportunity to protect yourself now before other people really even catch on to this. If you want to protect yourself, the only way you can really do it is by having a pair of sunglasses that's going to filter out the wavelengths that facial recognition uses. The most important thing is the eyes, the distance of the eyes, and the measurements of the irises. Now, what you're going to want to do is get a pair of green light glasses that is going to protect you from facial recognition and near infrared wavelengths. We actually have a sale going on at Veda right here. You can click.
From August 10th, 2025, UK cities will begin installing AI-powered facial recognition cameras in public spaces. And no, you can't opt out. The UK government has quietly approved a nationwide rollout of smart surveillance towers, starting in London, Birmingham, and Manchester. These high-tech poles don't just capture video. They scan faces in real time, match identities with police, NHS, and immigration databases, track movement patterns and crowd behavior anomalies. Leaked memos reveal the system is already in testing and will go fully active by November 2025. This is Orwell's 1984 in real life. We're being watched like criminals just for walking. Civil rights groups are calling it a privacy disaster, warning that innocent people could be wrongly flagged or permanently tracked. From August.
Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone, who do rule and teach well. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, peace and blessings, salutations to the hopefully elect. You sincere Akim, Wa'akwath, out there listening, learning, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahushai, occupying the prophecies and faith until all is fulfilled, and Lord will, we are redeemed. So back in the news with another lesson through the Spirit. And as you saw in those opening clips, we're entering into a surveillance state, which I want to quantify by saying this as well. Esau has been watching people. All right, Esau has had this technology out here. This is for at least the past 30, 35 years. All right, he's had this technology, but now what he's doing, because you have to remember with the whole, big, beautiful bill, this was actually outlined in there to pretty much create a surveillance state in which there's now laws on the books that justifies Esau to monitor you at all times, pretty much. All right, so this is just him rolling this thing out because now he has the laws behind it. All right. And this is an invasion of privacy. People are not agreeing to this. But nonetheless, all right, we understand that we're entering into this beast system in which, as we've been telling you, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, everything will be tracked, traced. Your carbon is going to be measured. All right. You're going to have a carbon footprint. There's going to be a carbon tax based on how much carbon that you use a day. So, this is a system of complete oppression, and the ultimate form of surveillance that these devils want is, in the words of Yuval Harari, to be underneath the skin, which is going to come in the form of the RFID microchip, which according to Revelation 13 and 16 on down is the Motb. All right, so we're rapidly, moving into this system here. And see, Esau, he's warp speeding the agenda because he knows he has a short time, pursuing Revelation 12 and 12. He's coming down with that great wrath, implementing these draconian, unrighteous decrees. All right, so right here, New Orleans to vote on nation's first real-time facial recognition policing program. And again, this right here, we've done the lessons on it, was outlined inside of the Big Beautiful Bill, among many other things that you see that Esau is doing. All right, pretty much militarizing the police, federalizing the police. And, really what he's doing is he's declaring war on the average American, on the average Babylonian. So reading here, it says, next week, the New Orleans City Council is slated to vote on a groundbreaking and highly controversial ordinance that would make New Orleans the first U.S. city to formally authorize the use of facial recognition technology for real-time surveillance and policing. If enacted, the new ordinance would empower either the New Orleans Police Department, the NOPD, or a third-party operator to monitor public spaces live and dispatch automated alerts when an individual matches a watch list. You see, so again, complete oppression. They want complete control. All right, because you have to understand that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he has a God complex. All right, he wants to be omnipresent and omnipotent. Okay, which is why he wants to watch what you're doing at all times, man. You see? Now, this is just an external surveillance. But again, when he brings the Motb forth, all right, when he says that you must now have a chip inside of you, okay, because that's ultimately what they want. All right, and you've had many whistleblowers come out over the years, most notably Aaron Russo, all right, which was friends with Nick Rockefeller. All right, he came out and made that same exact statement, saying that the ultimate goal is to get everybody chipped. All right, and that's how, what he's doing, he's eventually going to cause all to get this thing, because see, what he's doing is he's pretty much setting up 15-minute cities. And this is why you see the police being militarized. They're being put in certain zones. Very soon, you're going to have checkpoints to where you're not going to be able to travel freely like how you do now. You see, you're not going to be able to travel from state to state or fly anywhere unless you have clearance from this B system. All right, and that's outlined in 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter, where it says that a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because these devils are going to shut down travel. And we'll get into that, showing you that this is exactly where they're going. But right here in New Orleans, man, all right, they're saying by, so they're really about to, push this thing through. And meanwhile, everything else is going on. This is what you have happening behind the scenes. This right here isn't getting news coverage, all right, but it's coming. All right, so that's pretty much the point for that article. Let's go here as well. UK government building on live facial recognition announces predictive policing prototype. So you see, it's not only happening in America, but this is a worldwide global push in which, because you have to understand that this B system is going to be worldwide. Okay, pursuant to Revelation 3 and 10, it says that what? The hour of temptation shall come upon the whole of the world. Matter of fact, let's just get it. Okay? Revelation 3 and 10, because this is the hour in which we're going to be tempted. You know what I'm saying? To side with this world or keep our faith and, suffer for righteousness' sake and stand boldly for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see, so this is going to come upon all the world. That's why it says in Revelation 13th chapter that what? He shall cause all. Okay, because all the world governments have to get down with this beast system, or else there will be consequences. All right, so it says here the UK government has announced a predictive policing project relying on AI-powered interactive crime maps and facial recognition technology that should be operational across England and Wales by 2030. And we know that these devils, they have a 2030 agenda. You see, so we're we're really more than halfway through. All right, less than 5 years until 2030, man. So this is why you see now they're pushing the robotics heavy. They're pushing the AI. They're pushing all this surveillance and things of that nature because they want to have this thing ready by a certain time. All right, so they gotta, speed up the process. The concentrations of crime data challenge will be delivered by the UK Research and Innovation, sponsored by the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology. The real-time and interactive crime map is designed to prevent theft, antisocial behavior, knife crime, and violent crime. You see, and they always got to throw peace and safety in there. Okay, they always have to justify their wickedness by saying, "Oh, well, we want to make sure people are safe," or "Oh, we want to protect the women. We want to protect the children." All right, they always have to throw something sentimental into the mix to get people to go along with this thing. But ultimately, this is all devious work here by the devil, man. Okay, it's all deception to take away your rights, to take away your pretty much your ability to live life on this earth on your own terms, so to speak. All right, in this new system, you're gonna live life based on the devil's terms. Okay, he's gonna tell you when you can walk outside. He's gonna tell you, when you can, do with your woman. All right, he's gonna tell you when you can eat, how much you can eat. How much money you can buy, where you can live, how far you can travel. He said all these things encompass this beast system. Okay, now we know that this beast system isn't going to be, up and running like it's going to be a fully functional thing, but this is the agenda that these devils have, and they are going to get to a certain point with it, but it's not going to become fully realized, because when you read Job, the 20th chapter, it tells you, matter of fact, let's just go to it. You read Job 20, there's a spirit. It tells you that the Lord is pretty much going to frustrate this devil's enterprise. This is Job 20 and 22. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." Okay, now when it says in the fullness of his sufficiency, all right, just when he thinks he's about to accomplish his NWO, his beast system, his new enterprise, right? What's gonna happen? Let's go into it real quick. All right, let's go into the word wicked here. All right, this is Strong's H6001, and the word is Imal. All right, let's go into that. Select you. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, Strong's H6001 of the wicked. Okay, Imal. Then when you get the biblical usage, here we go. Okay, so the word wicked there is actually laborer, sufferer, wretched one, the laborer or workman. Okay, so just when this devil thinks that he's about to accomplish his enterprise, he's about to complete his agenda, every hand of the common citizen or every hand of the worker of the laborman is going to come upon him. So that entails what? Seditions, all right, civil war, civil unrest. Okay, so there is going to be rebellion behind this. All right, so that's where he's going to be in straits, a position of difficulty. Verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. You see, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So yeah, Esau is gonna get, but so far, but he's not gonna fully get this NWO up and running off the ground. Okay, because the Most High is gonna stop this man. All right, but you see what he's doing. All right, he's actively setting this thing up, and this is going to become a reality very, very soon, all across the earth. It says the prototype will rely on an initial 4 million pounds, 4 million pound government investment, and is scheduled for April 2026. The system will bring together data from police, councils, and social services, including criminal records, previous incident locations, and behavioral patterns of known offenders, providing insight to law enforcement agencies and their partners on where to direct their resources. You see? So this is complete control, all right? And the elites, they look at the people as cattle, all right, as useless eaters that must be controlled. You see, Singapore ICA leverages iris biometrics, robotics to streamline ID and passport renewal. You see, so again, this is a worldwide push into biometrics, robotics, AI, and pretty much AI is going to be the engine behind this new system, because AI is going to be the intelligence, you know what I'm saying? Because instead of having a man everywhere to watch everything, AI is pretty much going to be the engine behind all these cameras, all these data centers, to where everything's going to be streamlined. You know what I'm saying? AI can just, pull something up just like that. Okay? So this is why we see this big push to integrate these things into society. All right? You have a thing which is known as the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Things, and this all goes into the fourth industrial revolution. Okay? In which if you've been listening to what's been coming out of the WEF over the past few years, really since 2020, they've been speaking heavily upon this, especially your boy Klaus Schwab. Okay, he spoke about the fourth industrial revolution, in which man will be merged with technology. You see, so this is where we at. You know what I'm saying? These visions are starting to be made plain in these last days. All right. Then when you get this article right here, this is from the Smithsonian. New implanted device could offer a long, elusive, drug-free treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, the FDA just approved the set point system, which electrically stimulates the vagus nerve to control inflammation from the chronic disease. All right, so here you see that they have a chip in which you can get this thing implanted within your body, and it's going to be a cure for rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so you're not going to have to take pills no more. And check out what they're doing with the whole healthcare system. They're pretty much revamping the healthcare system from top to bottom. Okay, people losing healthcare, they're cutting Medicaid. Like you had Dr. Oz the other day come out and talk about pretty much having a digital ID to get healthcare, and RFK Jr. is talking about wearables, and they're promoting the chip as well. So, as it says in 2 Corinthians 2:11, let's get that real quick, man. All right, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. 2 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter, in verse 11, it says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Okay, and these are the devices of Satan, man. Okay, putting these things out here is, oh, we have this new health cure. Oh, we want to help people. It's the same thing they're doing with the Neuralink. Okay, people that got severe bodily issues and things of that nature. All right, they're more so opting to get the brain chip because it can improve their motor functions. Like they can get certain functions in their body back. You know what I'm saying? And these are all a part of the devil's left hand miracles, okay, in which he's going to captivate the minds of those that believe not. It says, for years, rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune disease that causes inflammation, has often been resistant to treatment. About 1.5 million Americans have the chronic condition, which commonly leads to joint stiffness and pain. So far, to treat the disease, patients have been forced to rely on expensive immunosuppressant drugs that leave them at higher risk for infections. And like I just mentioned, they're revamping the healthcare system. and drugs are also becoming more expensive to get. So what they're going to do is they're going to offer these certain technological solutions as a cheaper alternative, all right, to pretty much get people to opt in to being surveilled under the skin, all right, because that's really what it's all about, all right, for them to be underneath your skin, all right, because they want to know what you're thinking. They want to know if you're sick before you even know that you're sick, man. And these, all these talking points come out of the WEF, out of the Club of Rome, okay, in which Klaus Schwab, Yuval Harari, Gates, all these technocrats that you've seen surrounding Trump when he first came in, all these people are in on this agenda. And we see it being rolled out now, okay? But again, this is all in the name of peace and safety. You know what I'm saying? RFK got the moniker out now of, what is it? Maha, make America, healthy again. Okay, and this is a part of that, man. Putting wearables on you, which eventually those wearables, they want the wearables to be inside of you. But that's just a step to get you used to the idea of it, okay? Our reading here says, but now a revolutionary new device could transform RA care. In late July, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved an implant that uses electrical signals to control inflammation by tapping into the vagus nerve, a pair of nerves that connect the brain with important internal organs. The move marks the first time an electrical therapy has been approved for the treatment of any autoimmune disease. You see that? So this is an unprecedented event right here, man, to where they're going to put this little device, okay, into people's brains, right? And they're going to be able to have medical care through this little thing right here, man. All right? So Revelation 3:16 on down is speaking loud and clear. All right, let's go to Habakkuk, the second chapter. Habakkuk chapter 2. And yeah. Matter of fact, let's start at the top. Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And we're at the end right now. All right, we're at the end of the world, where these prophecies are now speaking loud and clear, and now people are beginning to see what's really going on, all right, and not lie. Though it tarry, so though it may seem like these things are taking a long time, all right, because you have those of our people out there that will scoff and say, oh, well, that's not going to happen in our lifetime, that's going to happen when I'm dead and gone. No, this is about to happen right now. You about to be faced with it, all right? So if you ain't built up in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, then you going to be susceptible to take the devil's wicked devices, man, and you going to be destroyed. All right, anyone who take the Motb is outlined in Revelation the 14th chapter. What's going to happen to you? Okay, you're going to receive the full wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai without mixture, man. So that means it's going to be no mercy for you. All right, the Lord is not going to have mercy upon those that take the Motb, man. All right. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. You know what I'm saying? So these visions, as brothers continue to go into, man, these things are speaking loud and clear. And at this point, there's no way that you can't see it. All right. There's no way that you cannot see where they're going with all this. All right. You have testimony on top of testimony. You have whistleblower coming out. You have all the news articles, these articles. You know what I mean? These devils are pretty much, they're not even hiding it no more. They're just coming out and telling you what it is. Okay? So this right here, man, it shows you that the words of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, are faithful and true. Everything is being accomplished in these last days. Showing you also that Yahweh Shai is very soon to return, man, because this devil needs to be stopped. All right, listen, Esau is crazy, man. All right, and as it says in what is that? Matthew, I want to say it's Matthew the 24th chapter. All right, matter of fact, let me do that real quick. No flesh shall be saved. Yup, Matthew 24 and 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right. So if this devil was allowed to have his way and continue on for another 50 to 100 years, man, it'd be no flesh saved, because he already has a depopulation agenda in which he wants to knock off 95% of the people off of this planet. And how is he going to do that? By way of war, by way of famine, by way of putting diseases out here, okay? Chemical warfare, all right? Cloud seeding, like yo, this devil has many devices, all right, to, as Yahweh Shah said, steal, kill, and destroy, man. That's his MO. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs 6 chapter. Because this man is speaking nothing but forwardness. All right, this is Proverbs 6 in verse 12. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth. When you go into the word forward, all right, it means of a person difficult to deal with, contrary. And who is contrary to the ways of righteousness? Who is the adversary, man? It's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. And all those that come in that same spirit. All right. But mainly dealing with Esau because he's the ruler over the planet Earth right now. Okay. He's difficult to deal with. He is contrary to the order that the Most High set up. And this is why he's trying to chip everybody, man, because he has a God complex. Right. Verse 13, he winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually, he soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. You see that? So all these devils do is sow discord, devise mischief continually, man. And in all these things that we've gone into, this is him devising mischief, okay? Because he's also going to put laws on the books. Well, I can't even say he will. I mean, he already has. All right. And it tells you in Daniel 8 and 25 that through his policy, he shall cause his craft to prosper. You see? And I believe that's Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter as well, where it goes into where it says, you know, the wicked reasoning within himself, you know, to let our strength be the law of justice. Okay. So these devils, they're going to go about implementing their wicked agenda by way of their laws. Because when things are on the books, they're going to be like, oh, well, it's the law, so you can't not agree with it. Either you're going to agree with it or legally we can punish you. All right. That's how these devils get down. All right. So just wanted to make this a quick update, you know, to let the body know, you know, what's going on and how close we are to the Motb being rolled out, and to gird yourself up, man, to put on the full armor of Yahweh Bashmil Shah that you can resist this. All right. Because majority of the world, they're going to go to receive this thing, man. All right. And we got to stand firm in the spirit, you know, whether it means, even if it means death, you know, to resist the devil's temptations. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash, called Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Kom Yasha'Allah, wa Babu Bosh.